I'm not quite sure what my earliest memory of the Olympic Games is. Certainly, I would have watched them when I was a child. My father was fairly obsessive about sports events. I think probably the gymnastics. I always loved to watch that, and I still do. I think it's the most graceful, beautiful, extraordinary thing. I remember the Russians very well. That year that Nadia Comaneci was in the games, and I think they won virtually everything, didn't they? Swimming, I remember. What was that guy's name? Mark Spitz, with all the medals around him. I don't think anyone had ever won more swimming medals. And I guess the 100-meter sprint is one of the most exciting events that everybody looks for. I like that it goes so quickly. I also like that the idea that potentially the winner is going to be the fastest person on the planet. Well, at least the fastest recorded person on the planet. I remember the year again the Russians won, Bortsov. I remember that. But it's always an event that even whether you do or don't like sport, you can't help but getting drawn in. To be honest, I don't watch that much sport. I watch a little tennis, but I'm not really so much of a football fan. But with the Olympics, I'll definitely be watching certain things. I wish we were here a little longer. We're actually on tour in America for some of it, but I'll try and catch it online for sure if I am away. When Duran Duran were first asked to do the Olympic celebration opening event in Hyde Park, it was a real thrill for us, because I think this only comes around once in your lifetime. It's been an awfully long time since the Olympics were in Britain, and it is special for the country. So to be a little tiny part of that is a huge honour for us, and also to be representing England at that particular event is great, because we've always thought of ourselves as a very English band and a British band. So my understanding is that when we play, as we're finishing our set, the teams start to come into the Olympic Stadium, so they cross over with the screens, which will be a moment to really look forward to. I've lived in London for pretty much the last 30 years, so I'm fairly familiar with most of the areas of London. Watching what's happened where they've been building the Olympic Park and the stadiums has been the most remarkable transformation, and I think a fantastically positive thing for the city, as long as all the various arenas can be used afterwards, which has always been the plan, then it should really leave a lasting legacy. I particularly love the Zaha Hadid building, the swimming pool. It's absolutely exquisite. It reminds me a little of the work of Oscar Niemeyer. We were recently in Brasilia, in Brazil, and I went to visit all these extraordinary Niemeyer buildings, and I know Zaha is a great fan of his and has probably taken a little influence, but whatever she's done, it's a magnificent job and something we should be proud of as a nation. When the Olympics comes to town, you don't know what to expect, do you? It's going to be insane. We're going to be invaded by millions and millions more people than our city's used to coping with. But in Britain, we're pretty good at putting on big events, and we're used to dealing with a big influx of tourism during the summer anyway. I suppose we've all got our fingers crossed for the transport systems. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I hope they use the river more, because it's a great way to get around London. Not something I do very often, but certainly it's underused. I think most people in Britain are immensely proud that we were able to win our Olympic bid. Often we lose stuff like that, And it is a big deal to have that in your country. I know the preparations have been going on since the day the bid was won, and I imagine that there are many artists across different fields involved in the ceremonies and things around the country, as well as obviously all our athletes. I hope we win a lot of things. We never have too high expectations. As we know, an expectation is a disappointment waiting to happen. But I got my fingers crossed for a few people.